Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Master of Ceremonies, Senior Vice President, Director of National Production, Mr. Chris Sorensen.
Yeah! Woo! Okay. All I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to take that recording home. Yes. And I'm going to play that every night when I come home from work. I'm going to play that for Shelley. I mean, talk about self-indulgent, right? But that's fun. Paul, great job. Team, great job. Andrea Malice, she's already been mentioned once. She'll be mentioned several times. Andrea Malice, you did a phenomenal job on making sure that all of us put together just one hell of a schedule. Andrea does not allow me to present mediocrity in any way, shape, or form. Andrea is one of those individuals who will raise the bar for all of us. And she's made sure that this agenda has flowed. So you're going to receive a lot of information over the next few days. And as I said in an email, how many people saw my email that I sent out to all of retail this morning? Okay, a lot of you. So I'm going to ask for each and every one of you to please just consider what I shared in that email, which is that we have an opportunity to go back to our offices and come back better than how we got here. As I say in orientation each month and in BMU, Branch Manager University, we're going to get out of this conference or this time together what we're willing to put into it. This is time spent away from your loved ones, your work, family, loans. Man, time is the most precious commodity each and every one of us in this room has. This better be time well spent. That's why I asked for the phones to go in the box. It's not because I'm not aware of how critical those emails are. It's because I want to make sure that as long as you're going to be away from your loved ones and your work, that it is time well spent. And so I have prepared. Many of you recognize, obviously, that I have no problem speaking extemporaneously and enjoy doing so. But I did want to make sure, obviously, out of respect for each and every one of you, that I did prepare and I did take notes. And I am going to offer some things that I believe are noteworthy, meaning that you should, as any good manager, have a pen and paper readily available so you can take notes. Hopefully I will share something with you that you say, you know what, I'm going to take that back to my team. Because truly that's what it's all about. Why be here if we're not going to help improve our team? Now you may have teammates like Justice Roberts. He doesn't have loan officers reporting to him, but he does have a team that is expecting great things from him. Whether it's operational teammates, loan officers, or both, there are people back home that are counting on you. There are people that work directly for corporate through operations and fulfillment who are counting on all of us in production for their livelihoods. When we slow down, what happens to all of them? KP says, the inside drives the outside, which is a very true statement. But as originators, we are built by originators for a reason. We want to create, and we'll never fully achieve it. It's something that's a goal we're always going to be working towards. But the original goal that Paul and Robert set out was to create a panacea for originators. We're not perfect. No company is. We're dealing with human beings who are all fallible. But we owe it to each other to go back, leaving it better than we found it, and make sure that we commit to leading our teams and going out there and asking for the business so that our teammates have job security. They have a future. Some of us in this room, like myself, almost feel a sense of moral obligation. There are times, and I'm not looking for a show of hands, but there are times when many of you have thanked God for the individuals that helped you get that loan closed and closed on time. You picked up a loan that maybe somebody else couldn't do, and through your expertise and your teammates' assistance, you got it done, and you were the shining star. Well, those people are relying on us more than ever today. We're in a battle. We're in a battle that in 33 years of me being in the business, that I've not experienced to the degree that we're experiencing it right now. I said in my email a very bold statement, and I spoke the truth. You can look it up on the Housing Wire article that talked about it. You can look it up on multiple articles that talks about how there are disruptors, Matt Ishbia in particular, who have openly admitted, I'm going to pray. Now, he didn't say these words. These are Chris Sorensen's words only. Don't worry, Paul, Robert, and Gary and KP. But he has basically said, I'm going to prey on the ignorance and fear of the originators out there, and I'm going to lose my ass because I have hoarded cash over the last 2 years where I did have competitive pricing with everybody else. But now I'm going to drop my pricing super low and force competition out of the business. He did say that. And he said to his shareholders on a shareholder call, don't worry, this is not going to last forever. Once we get enough people into the wholesale space, we're going to jack up the pricing and laugh all the way to the bank. He said it. It's documented. That's the reason why I called it evil. How evil is that, to tell somebody flat out in a national magazine for our space, I'm going to play on the ignorance and fears of the originators. I'm going to get them to jump ship. And then once they're over here, we're going to jack up their pricing and we'll start making a bigger profit. That's not the way that we roll. I hope that each and every one of us in this room has more integrity than that. That we don't play those games. We'll be as competitive as we can. But all of us are in business, obviously, to make a good living, or we could be a commodity. And God forbid if that's all that we view ourselves as. I entitled my own talk, Believe to Lead, just for my own personal notes. For 33 years, the one thing that I've had is eternal optimism. I've always had hope. I didn't have it when I first got in the business. We have a lot of new faces, and there's things that I've said over the last, whatever it is, 10, 12 years that I've been at PRMG. I've had 3 jobs in my entire career. First team real estate in Orange County, mortgage broker, opened up, became the president of that company. We became a branker, as Paul likes to call me, doing both brokering and banking. That was my downfall during the 2008 Great Recession, because when people stopped making their payments and their home values went down by 50%, they couldn't sell their homes. And so Homie here had to cover those losses when the big banks said, hey, look on page 26, line X of your agreement that you signed 5 years ago. You now owe us $276,000. You owe us $75,000. You owe us $180,000. And man, when it happened in a tsunami. And thank God that I decided to serve for success. I believed that I had a higher calling. I believed that I had a purpose in this business. I wanted to leave a legacy. And so even during that terrible, terrible time in my professional career, I knew that I could help contribute to those people who are suffering. And at that particular point in time, how many people lived during or in the business during that 2008 crisis? Most of you, 90% of you. I'm going to take you back just for 1 second. Not everybody that led up to that crisis was the quintessential person, subprime lender that we all talked about, a borrower, who on a Nina took out all the cash out of their home, bought a Hummer with matching wave runners, and would spend all the time at the river. That's what they promoted, but that's not the reason for the crisis. This was done to us, not by us. Sure, there were the bad guys, there were the bad borrowers, but it was the leveraging on Wall Street, according to the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission, 33-1, unprecedented leveraging that caused what was a $4 trillion problem to become an unsurmountable problem, and why TARP and the whole rest of the world got to the edge and said, what the hell are we going to do now? So don't let anybody tell you that You as originators were the problem. It was Wall Street investment banks that were the problem after they repealed Glass-Steagall Act with the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, which was sold as bullshit privacy legislation. Why do I bring all this up? Because I'm somebody who reads a ton, and I felt like I could help those people who literally put down 20% down in their home. They're a firefighter, a police officer, they're a union worker. They believed what everybody out there was telling them, and they put everything down on a home. And when the market crashed and they got their overtime cut, they couldn't pay their bills anymore, and they couldn't sell their home. So what do? You lost everything you've worked for 20 years in a year. They needed somebody to help navigate, and that's why I started the HELP program, and Paul and Robert jumped on board and were on my board of directors. That was the genesis, truly, of my relationship with PRMG. It was a servant's heart that saved me and helped create the position that I'm in today, because I knew that if I would get up at 3 in the morning and study and make sure that on this topic I was the smartest person in the room, that I'd be able to benefit those people who came and sat down to hear what I had to say. That commitment to excellence for that one thing, that belief in myself to be able to benefit others, is what saved me. And I'm asking my managers, my peer group here, just to consider while we're here doing the same. How strongly do you believe in yourself? Now listen, I have no problem with people going out there. I own some investment properties. I have no problem with people doing or multitasking. But I will just ask you to consider this. Being a jack of all trades and a master of none can be a concern for the people that are following you. We enjoy following a strong leader who believes in what they're doing, that they're just overwhelmingly passionate about it, that you say, man, I don't know what they have, but I want some of it. I keep wanting to do the whole Elvis Presley thing with this. I'm going to put this over here because I dig this thing, but it's making me think of Elvis Presley every time So I want you to believe in yourself, and your people will follow you. So here's something that I wrote down. I want you to consider, if you haven't done so already, writing down your purpose with your team. So please make a note. This is a homework assignment with your teammates. I want you to write out, with your teammates' help, a mission statement. What is your purpose? And it has to be a group effort. You need to sit down at a table with the people that work with you. I don't care if it's your receptionist. I don't care if it's your top producer and everybody in between. But you need to call a meeting. And as I always say, start on time and finish on time. Take control of the meeting and don't allow anybody to dominate the floor. Make sure you drag information out of your team members and ask them to contribute for your mission statement. What is our purpose? What is something that all of us can believe in? Does your team believe in you? Why do they believe in you? Why should they follow Marcos Cabral? What is Marcos's purpose that I can believe in? If it's all for doing loans and just going out and making a few dollars, that's not sustainable success. Money comes and goes, right? You see a line, look at, success doesn't go like this. Success goes up, down, up, down, up, down. Hopefully the trajectory over the last 20, 30, 40 years is going to be positive. But you're going to have highs and lows. And it's at the low point where someone has to say, you know what? I believe in Art Thompson. He has a purpose that I buy into. What is yours? Write it down. Have it be defined. And have it be something that your entire team can answer just like that. I should be able to call each and every one of them up and say, hey, what's your branch's purpose? and they should rattle it off because it's short, sweet, to the point. It's something you all worked on when you got back and said, I care enough about you and myself and the legacy that I'm going to leave here, come hell or high water, that each and every one of us is going to have a purpose that we can all buy into and believe in and accomplish. How many people in this room have read, be honest with yourselves, have read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich? About 30, 40%, maybe 50%. It's so funny. I would venture to say easily, probably 70% of the coaches in sales have simply repackaged Think and Grow Rich. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing them. The main message, if I were to boil it and scrape off just the top, the main message of that book is think, believe in yourself, and grow rich. If you truly believe in something and you write it down and you choose to also write down who you're going to benefit by achieving your goal, well, the next thing is easy. Just start serving. All of us in this room would rather have somebody who is passionate, who believes in you and believes in themselves, than somebody who simply has talent. Belief in your capabilities, belief in your leadership will trump simple talent every single day. Talent without passion is fleeting. You're leaders. We have to lead. That's what we're called to do. Well, there's no reason to be here. We call this a leadership conference because we're hoping to impart leadership skill sets on you while you're here and create enough passion that you'll say, you know what? I owe it to the people that have chosen to trust their careers to me to lead them and make them better. Do you have the best processor in the industry? If not, help them become one. Make it your goal to make sure, don't just criticize people, help them become better at what they do. Do you have loan officers that are out there succeeding the way that they say they want to succeed? Look, you're not going to be perfect. Nobody in this room is omniscient. You're going to have people who will not follow your directional steps. But does that mean you quit trying? Most of the people who fail in life just simply give up too soon. We've heard story, anecdotal story after anecdotal story. I called Jeremy Pope the other day to congratulate him and Brent on a phenomenal month, Loveland, Ohio. And he said, hey, I'm sick, I got COVID. Sorry. But I want you to tell me, give me a secret to success, how you guys were able to achieve such a great goal. And he goes, we just don't quit. We don't take no for an answer. I go, that's it? He goes, that's it. I loved it. Because that's me. Hope springs eternal. I learned a long time ago, out of desperation, because I had a significant other and children to care for, that I couldn't come up with any excuse. Excuses be damned. I had a mortgage payment. I had financial goals. So when I was told at First Team Real Estate, hey, you have to go out and get a 6% contract for 6 months when Help Yourself was doing it for 1, I had to sell myself and the value that I was bringing over those price whores over at Help You Sell. That's just Chris Sorensen's opinion. KP and Robert, don't get mad. Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, point made. Yeah. In fact, Robert just said they're out of business. The whole industry is littered with people who said, I'm just going to do it cheaper than the competition, and I'll bring in more business. It's littered. The industry is littered with people like that. And the people who bring massive